Today, we hear real stories of Americans choosing to delay or skip having children because of financial pressure. Welcome to the real economy.
Donald Trump saying that he will give every person who has a child $5,000 is such a slap in the face, and everyone should see it. Because $5,000 ain't shit once you have an actual kid that you are wholly responsible for at least 18 to 20 years. And listen, I'm not saying that $5,000 isn't more than zero. However, anyone who's ever raised a child or even knows anything about raising a child knows that that's not going to go very far. The average cost to give birth in a hospital in the United States is $30,000. So that $5K isn't even touching that. And that's just to get the kid into this realm. And then of course you automatically have all of the other expenses. If they really want people to have children or have more children, they need to have things like paid maternity and paternity, subsidized childcare. And all the Republicans right now are like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump's gonna give us $5,000 to have a kid. Let me know how far that $5,000 go. Because I guarantee you it's not going as far as you think it is. I also don't think we should be bribing people to have kids. I think we should just improve society.
Unpopular opinion, but why would you have kids if you can't afford them? People are already struggling to take care of themselves, so why bring in a child that you know is gonna struggle? I think that is very selfish. Us deciding that we don't want to have kids because we can't afford them, you're right, it is very selfless of us. It would be selfish if we decided to have kids when we can't afford them, like a lot of parents do. And everybody just falls into this whole trajectory of you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids. But that was true back in the 1920s. I don't think that's true now. I think we have realized it's very hard to raise a child. It's easy to have a child, if you can get pregnant easily and don't have any complications. But it's hard to raise a good child that isn't bullying other kids, that isn't physically violent with them. And you know what? I'm selfish, and I know that right now I don't have the capability of raising a good kid, so I'm not having one.
You want to see wages go up? Tell them you're not going to have kids unless they raise the wages. Let them know that if we can't afford childcare or the cost to have a baby, ain't going to be none popping. Who needs abortion when we have a plan? And that plan should be to not open your legs to someone who's not rich. I guarantee you those wages will go up so damn fast when they see that women are dead ass serious about not getting pregnant unless they can pay those bills. Baby, you will see heads turn. They saw that new birth rate that just dropped and it went down again. The average age of an American is 39 years old, sis. The average age of an African is 29 years old, sis. And the average household in America is 2.1. And the average household size in Africa is 4.5 to 6 people per house. And on top of raising those wages, you need to make childcare free, healthcare free. Yeah, because the sheer amount of debt that you go in just to have that baby is insane. My friend just had a baby at work and she only got 6 weeks off of work. 6 weeks. That's unacceptable. So if they want to make you have some babies, make them pay for it.
I believe that if you are really poor, you should not be having kids.
I'm 25 years old, and I'm always constantly getting asked, when are you having kids? Baby, kids? In this economy? Do you know how selfish it is to have children when you don't even have your life together? When you don't know if you'll be able to pay rent for next month? When you are not sure where your next meal is coming from? When you have to choose between the light bill or the water bill for the month? I'm currently working on myself and my financial security, so when the day comes that I do have children, they don't have to struggle. They don't have to go hungry. They don't have to live in a house where the lights are getting cut off. They don't have to go to bed cold. They can go to the best schools, wear the best clothes, eat the best meals, take the best vacations. I am not bringing children into this world to struggle. I will use any method of protection and birth control that is available to me because I am not financially ready to have a child yet. Yes, I am mentally ready to have a child. And yeah, of course, I want children. I'm 25, I'm almost 26. I am ready to have a kid. But let's be honest, I'm poor. And you cannot have a child being poor. I don't want to bring a child into this world and live in this neighborhood that I live in, where people rob and steal and shoot each other and kill each other. Say what you want, but my children will have a silver spoon. My children will have everything handed to them. My children will have access to anything they want. My children won't have to struggle. And if you know you're poor and you bring children into this world, you're selfish. There are condoms, there are pills, there are shots, there are all types of shit that you can do to prevent getting pregnant. And you still choose to get pregnant, you're selfish. I don't care.
As an elder millennial with no children, no girlfriend, I haven't even been on a date in months. Aww. I'm not gonna lie, it gets really lonely. But the way the economy is going right now, it's probably what's best. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. My job just had its first ever layoffs. And my thing is, what if these people have families, children that's dependent on them? A lot of us are upset right now, like, I can't get a home. No girl wants to date me. I ain't got no kid. Good. Because if you had a mortgage right now, you would be in shambles. I know a lot of people right now, they foreclosing. And they calling mom, they calling dad, and they trying to go back home. As much as having children, a wife, husband is a part of a full human experience, if you don't have that right now, then just be thankful for that. Because imagine if somebody was asking you this. Let me get some V-Bucks. Let me get some Robux. Let's go to McDonald's. You don't need that in your life. You don't. Or if somebody was asking you this. I know you just lost your job, but that don't mean you don't have to take me nowhere. Let's go out the country. How we gonna do that? We don't got no money. Credit card.
Would you consider delaying or not having children because of the economy? Share your thoughts below. Raising a child in the U.S. can cost over $300,000. It's okay to prioritize your financial stability first.
For the people who are child-free by choice, now that you're older, do you regret your decision? For as long as I've known, I thought I wanted to have kids. Now that I'm at that age where I have to decide whether or not I want to freeze my eggs, I've actually started to think that I perhaps don't want to have kids. As little girls, we've been programmed to think that that's what we want. We want to become wives, we want to become mothers. But now that I'm older and I can form my own thoughts and opinions, I've started to realize that the only reason I ever wanted them was because it was heavily influenced by society and everybody around me. And let's be real, it's not really normal to hear about people not wanting kids by choice. Because usually when people get married, the first thing somebody asks them is like, hey, when are you going to start a family? Back in the day when I saw a baby, I was the first person to volunteer to hold that baby. I just saw a newborn baby yesterday and a bunch of toddlers, and it was the first time where I didn't have the urge to want to hold the baby. The sight of the screaming kids really started to repulse me. Every time I get done with work, the thought of having to come home to a child, I'm like, thank goodness I don't have one, because if I did, I think I would be over the edge. I truly value my freedom, and the thought that I have to give it up to take care of a child, like, I just don't want to do that. If I were to have kids, the only way I would have it is if I had help, like if I had a nanny, if I had a cleaner, because I don't know if I want to sacrifice my hobbies for a kid. And for those who are going to come at me being like, oh, like, who's going to take care of you when you're old? That's selfish. The other thing that I am afraid of as well is that when you get older, your friendships do change, especially with life changes that I've noticed already, like with my friends who have kids. Everyone just talks about mom things, and I don't really have anything to add. I know that if I choose not to have a kid, I'm probably going to be isolated away from those groups of people, and I'm going to have to find new friends who are child-free as well. Is anyone else also struggling with this? For the people that do have kids, like, what's your honest opinion? Like, my mom loves us, but she tells us every day, do not have kids.
Also, side note, another societal problem around having kids is that a lot of people want to have gender reveals and baby showers, but they don't want to be parents. Hey, so real quick, can we please stop trying to convince women to have children? Or stop shaming women into having children, please? Besides just simply trying to convince or shame someone into doing something, the reasons that y'all are giving for that are terrible reasons to have kids. People are saying, well, who's going to take care of you when you get older? Having a child and procreating a human life onto this earth for the sole purpose of having someone guaranteed to take care of you when you get old and can't take care of yourself is a terrible reason to have a child. Also, any reason that revolves around any other human being except for the woman is a terrible reason to have a child. I feel like women need to ask themselves, am I okay with birthing and raising, taking care of a child all by myself? Am I prepared to do that? Am I okay with doing that? Do I want to do that? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. Because people change, people leave, people lie, people die. Truthfully, I feel like all of this discourse would really not be here if in society in general, young women were given the space, the option, the choice, and the safety to ask themselves, do I really want to have a child? Because I'll be 29 this year. I did not actually ask myself, do I want to do this until last year? So yeah, all I'm saying is having children is a huge, permanent, life-altering responsibility to take on. And it is a choice, okay? So if people are saying that they cannot do that, they don't want to do that, that is a responsible decision to make. Call us selfish or whatever you want, but at least we can acknowledge that and make the responsible decision to say, if I'm selfish, if I don't want to do this, if I cannot do this, then I'm not going to. Because at the end of the day, the same way that we keep screaming about the government needing to stay out of women's business and leave our bodies alone, we need to do that with each other too. There you go.
Americans aren't making babies, and that's bad.
It's almost as if millennials and Gen Z have repeatedly said that we don't even make enough money to sustain ourselves, let alone a fucking child. The boomers told us that if we want higher paying jobs, all we have to do is go to college. Well, guess what? We did that, and now we're drowning in student debt, and we still don't make enough to sustain ourselves. My monthly student loan payments are the reason that I, at the age of nearly 23, can't afford to rent an apartment. And you want me to think about kids? Are you fucking insane? Do you know how much money it costs to raise a child in the United States? Nearly $300,000. You told us to not have kids if we can't afford them. So, we're not having kids. We can't afford them. Don't be mad at us because you fucked up the economy. And finances aside, the planet is dying. In 30 years, there's gonna be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Why the hell would I want to bring somebody into this world? I wouldn't be shocked if climate change killed me before I was even a senior.
How do you think the economy is changing family decisions today? Some communities and nonprofits offer free child care support, grants, or family housing assistance. Always research local programs.
Am I the only one who, every time you see someone announcing that they're having another kid, you're like, how the F are you affording that in today's economy?
Bro, what is this even supposed to pay for? Do y'all know how much it costs to have a baby? What is $5,000 about to do for me? I had an asthma attack in my early 20s. They had to rush me to the hospital, which was 2 lights down the road. I had to pay $3,000. But your little $5,000 reward is gonna help. With what? Not the hospital bills. You know, women have to pay to hold their baby after they give birth. You gotta pay to hold the child you just carried for 9 months. But you're gonna give me $5,000. Like, I'm so sick of how out of touch these people really are.
To all the people getting pregnant in the recession, how are you guys doing? How are the girlies doing? I seen at, what was it, Family Dollar, that Similac, and it was a very small tub. It was $20. Ouchie. You have 4 kids. How are you doing? I'm so sorry. I hope the man that knocked you up is helping you out, and if he's sitting on his ass, you got more than one problem on your hands, babe. Good luck.
Sometimes I look at kids or movies or baby clothes and I'm like, I want a kid. And then I realize that in this economy, I can't afford a kid. Especially at this age. Like, I'm sure people have kids, but I don't think I can financially afford kids in this economy, especially since I'm still not done with my education. And it's just so hard though to fight the maternal instinct, because I feel like I have such a strong maternal instinct, and a lot of people are like, just fight it, but I'm like, But on a serious note, I did know I wanted kids around when I was like 6, because that's when I started first babysitting. And at my old church, I really, 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 really liked kids, and kids really seemed to like me, and I preferred hanging out with kids than like the toxic people at my church. So I'm kind of messed up, but in order to have kids, you need to have good men. So with this economy and the dating market, I don't think I'm gonna have a kid. And if I do, it's gonna be me as a single parent.
If money wasn't an issue, would your decision about kids change?
It's so crazy. The older I get, the less I regret not having kids. Well, let me clarify. I never regretted not having kids, but I used to be a little concerned that I would regret it one day, or I would be concerned of like, oh God, what if I made a mistake? But the more time that goes on, the more I'm absolutely certain that I made the right choice versus the other way around. Maybe it's because the older you get, you just know yourself better and you learn more about yourself and you're like, yeah, that lifestyle's not for me. That's not for me. This is, doing what I want when I want. This is for me. Once again, relax. I'm not knocking having kids. Having kids are wonderful and beautiful. And thank God my sister chose to have two, because that's the other thing that gives me so much peace of mind is like, those are my kids in a sense. And so I get to have my little DNA running around and little kids that tell me that they love me, but without having to do anything. So having kids is beautiful. If it's your thing, God bless you. Like, you did the right thing. But my point is, for anyone out there who's maybe in their 30s, 40s, and they know they don't want them, but they're scared that they're going to regret it one day, chances are you're not going to. And chances are you're just going to become more and more secure in your decision. So I'm just giving you some hope. I'm just giving you a little positive feedback that, all of these people who are saying, you're going to regret it. What if you regret it one day? You're going to die alone. Like that whole thing. Don't listen to it. If this is what you feel in your heart is right for you, stay true to yourself. And chances are you're going to be very happy with your decision.
It's been said before, but I'm going to say it again. Stop having children. Don't have children if you do not have the financial means. If you can't even afford yourself in this economy, don't have children, okay? The thing is, I'm not talking about moms or women who become moms and then they work their ass off and they're able to afford their kids and they make that bag. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the women who deliberately make it known that they don't have enough money and yet they still have kids. For instance, there's a girl that I know, we used to be really close. She had a baby, and before that, sometimes I would pay for her and stuff when we would go out, which I don't have a problem with. I get it. We all struggle. But when you add a baby to the mix, that's different. You should be hustling. You should be working for that. You know what I mean? You should be working for your child. She asked me to borrow money, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but now it's the 4th time. And I'm just like, I don't get it. The first time she asked me to borrow $20 and she's like, oh, I'll run to the bank tomorrow and I'll give it to you then. I'm just like, you can run to the bank today. I don't get it. So I don't know. I had a weird gut feeling and I was like, okay, no, I just came up with something. The 3rd time she asked me to borrow, I think $45 for something. And I was just like, no, it was the same excuse, but I kind of made something up. And I get it. We all struggle. I just have this thing too where it's like, if I have a gut feeling that something's off, then I'm not going to do it. Anyways, the 3rd time was crazy. The audacity was crazy. She invited me to her birthday where she got a table at a club, okay? All 10 of us that she invited had to pitch in for the table, which I was down with. I was fine, whatever. I ended up not being able to go because it was super snowy and it was all the way in the city. I'm not going to drive all the way to the city in the snow. A lot of people ended up canceling on her. This girl had the audacity to ask me, a person that did not go to her event, if I could pay $250 since a lot of people didn't show up. Huh? I don't know if she asked me that because she knows that I have a big girl job. I don't know what the case is, but you expecting me to pay $250 for something that I didn't show up to while you have a child at home. So if you can't even afford the table at the club, why are you getting it? If you can't even afford that when you have a baby at home, why are you getting that? Anyways, I was livid. I was gonna write her this whole paragraph, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut it off and just no. So I received a text from her today asking if she could borrow $20. She's 16 months, I think. She's 16 months pregnant on her 2nd kid. Stop having kids if you can't afford them. That goes for every person who's purposely having children. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching The Real Economy. If you're navigating these tough choices, check the free resources link below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real stories.